My name is Mara Ellison, and 3 weeks ago my parents texted me not to come to their anniversary party because only high society guests had been invited. That message felt final. I stayed in my apartment alone until my phone rang. It was my sister Tessa. Her voice shook. "Why did you hide this from the family? Mom and Dad just saw the news." "I didn't hide anything," I said. I stopped explaining myself to people who never listened. 3 years earlier, I had been hired to save Blackwood Hall, a crumbling estate outside Boston. Developers wanted the land, and everyone assumed the house was doomed. I spent weeks studying old plans and presented a restoration proposal that convinced the trust to fund the work. For 18 months, I lived with that building in my bones, matching plaster by hand, finding craftsmen for the oak work, and spending 3 months restoring the front doors. My family treated my work like a hobby. My mother introduced me at parties as the one who works in renovations. My father said I'd be welcome back on the Christmas card someday. The last photo they left me in was Tessa's wedding picture. My mother cropped me out before posting it online. Last Christmas I showed up anyway, carrying a first edition book on cathedral architecture. My mother accepted it without looking at me. My father talked stock tips with a judge while praising Tessa and her husband. When someone asked about me, my mother said I did hammer things. I promised myself I would never again stand in a room where I was unwanted. Then came the message telling me not to attend the anniversary party at Blackwood Hall. A few hours later, an envelope arrived from the American Institute of Architects. I had been nominated for its highest honor. Margaret Vale signed the letter herself. A week before the event, Tessa called to say she had tried to get me invited. I let her talk until I heard the lie inside the kindness. My father called next and said the guest list was final. Then, almost casually, he mentioned Margaret Vale would be there. He had no idea that the woman he planned to impress was my mentor. 2 days before the party, my aunt texted to ask if I was okay because Mother had told people I was having mental health issues. I checked Facebook and found my mother's polite lies in the comments. Prayers for Mara, so strong through all of this, some children just struggle. She had built a story of me being unstable, so my absence would look compassionate instead of cruel. On the night of the party, I was in my apartment when the AIA announcement went live. My name, my photograph, my work, all of it appeared online at once. Then Margaret called and said she would be at Blackwood Hall that evening. When I told her my family was hosting a party there, she laughed softly and said, "Small world." By the time I arrived, the house was glowing with chandeliers, flowers, and guests in formal wear. My mother stood at the entrance in emerald satin, smiling like the evening belonged to her. Tessa drifted through the rooms in silk and diamonds. Margaret arrived after 7, and my mother rushed to greet her. Margaret asked where I was. My mother said I couldn't come because I was unwell. Margaret replied that she had spoken to me yesterday, and I had sounded perfectly fine. Then, the AIA announcement appeared on every phone in the room. People began reading aloud. Mara Ellison, among the country's leading preservation architects, nominated for the medal that defines our profession. Guests turned from my mother to the screens, then back to her face. At 7:52, Tessa called me, furious. "Why did you hide this?" "I didn't hide anything," I said. "You never asked." In the background, I could hear the party unraveling. Margaret stepped into the center of the room and told everyone who had restored Blackwood Hall. She named every door, every window, every saved detail. Then she announced a new grant and said I would lead the next project. Applause broke out. My mother tried to speak, but there was nothing left to say. I went to the hall anyway. My parents saw me cross the threshold and lost the last of their composure. I told them I wasn't there to ruin their party. I was there because the building mattered to me, even if I had never mattered enough to them. Then I left them standing where they had tried to use me, and I did not look back that night. 3 months later, my father sent a brief message asking if he could see the governor's mansion project when it was finished. I said yes, because forgiveness is not the same as forgetting. I still carry the years they erased me, but I do not live inside them anymore. I am standing at another restored doorway, keys in my hand, sunlight on the stone, and I am exactly where I belong.